Before we begin this review, let's just get it out of the way. Yes, it's inspired by the classic novel. And yes, that novel is about a sperm whale who's white named Dick. Yes, Herman Melville was the master of triple entendre, and that's even before mentioning the word semen. So you've got a ship where Thor is the first mate, a young Spider-Man is aboard, and it's captained by Abraham Lincoln. And not just any Lincoln either, the vampire-killing one. But in this movie, a whale is causing them problems? I know a whale's a lot bigger than a vampire, but come on boys, you should have this one. Apply yourself. I mean, this guy fights frost giants. Perhaps this movie was Chris Hemsworth trying to escape the shadow of Thor. He lost a scary amount of weight and muscle mass in order to do the film, and he was the one who brought the script to Ron Howard in the first place. So this was clearly an important story for Hemsworth to tell. And yet, once again on Real School, I ask why? Don't get me wrong, it's a good story, but it was already a great story the first time when it was called Moby Dick, book or film. And this isn't even like the making of Moby Dick. It's more like a movie based on the book about the making of Moby Dick. Right off the bat, I kind of have to ask, why not just remake Moby Dick? As I even felt that the book itself, In the Heart of the Sea, was basically writing the coattails or whale tales of Herman Melville's classic. And as an English teacher, let me tell you, while it's not the same in all respects, the thematic elements are still there. But in the movie, really ham-fisted thematic elements. In Moby Dick, Captain Ahab is a very defiant man. He's stubborn. He'll stare down death itself in order to get what he wants. And in fact, in the book, Father Mapple actually gives a sermon about Jonah and his defiance of God. Okay, it's not the most subtle, as Jonah was swallowed by a whale. So who exactly is the Ahab? You would think from the trailers that it would be Chris Hemsworth, but in fact, he is not the Captain Ahab character. He is only first mate to Benjamin Walker, vampire hunter. But the fact of the matter is, because both men are basically half of Ahab, they're both half defiant and half likable, they're not very understandable characters. In fact, in one of the first scenes, we see Hemsworth's Owen Chase arguing with his wife. And we're supposed to forgive his stubbornness simply because she does? She literally brushes it off saying, well, I married a whaler. Yeah, but the audience didn't, so why do we have to like him? Perhaps it's another Dick theme. You know what I mean, that of duty. And yes, for the most part, Walker and Hemsworth's character are honorable men at times, I guess. But I don't think their moments of honor make up for their character detriments. I have to keep reminding myself, this is not Moby Dick. This is not fiction. In fact, it's supposedly based on a real story. And the fact is, it's not as polished or fun as the Sea Time adventure, because the real-life adventure brings some real darkness. A real dose of dark reality comes when we see how whale oil is harvested, how these majestic marine mammals are butchered on the deck of a ship. And if that's not enough grotesque reality straight from the Cove, how about cannibalism? Anyone else hungry? Anyone? No, it's the holidays. Yeah, people overdo it, I get it. And there's the major difference. It's not just fact or fiction. Moby Dick is at heart a man versus monster story, but in the heart of the sea, it's a survival story with barely a monster in it. I felt that the real monster of the film was the storytelling, as not only was the pace extremely slow at times, but the story itself was quite jumbled. Most notably, the climax of the film happens about halfway into the movie. That, of course, is the main whale attack, but after that, there's still 40 minutes left of film, which is anticlimactic in comparison. And if climaxes are supposed to happen halfway through, I've been doing a lot of things in my life incorrectly. One other thing done incorrectly that's not quite as personal was the 19th century American accents done by an Aussie, and a few Brits, and a couple talented Irishmen. It was a mix of New Englander, Old Englander, Massachusetts, and clearly not giving a crap. Which might be another reoccurring theme. It's a real shame that this insanely talented cast that not only stars Chris Hemsworth, but Ben Whishaw, Cillian Murphy, Brendan Gleeson, and half the cast of Game of Thrones was just wasted. Not only could no one do a consistent accent, but the fact was it seemed everyone was just going through the motions. Which is apparently the Howard School of Filmmaking. And yes, that's also a shot at Bryce. Did you see Jurassic World? And here's a little more controversy for you. I am not actually a huge fan of Ron Howard. Yeah, he's told some great stories. He's made some good movies. But the fact is, when it comes to entertainment and rewatchability, it's only one movie of his that I actually own. won. And therein lies the major issue. As is common with a lot of Ron Howard films, the story seemed to be the only thing he was concentrating on, and sadly, the story isn't all that interesting. As a result, the cast was just wasted. Couple that with a jumbled and anticlimactic plot, and there is no heart in this sea. It is a burn it. Poll question, what is your favorite sea adventure film? As always, leave your answers in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to Real School, follow me on Twitter, and of course if you get anything out of Real School or you want to contribute to Killian's college fund, just click the link and you can become a Real School patron. But until next time, school's out.